Okay, good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss about the last topic in our fourth unit, which is nothing but the stepper motor. So before going for the stepper motor, let us have a brief discussion about the motors, which we have seen in the third semester. So the motor is nothing but it is a device which converts the electrical energy into the mechanical energy, which is a device. It converts the electrical energy into the mechanical energy. And there are two types of motors are there, depending on the what is that the input source. One is the AC, DC, AC motors as well as the next one is the DC motors. Means the motors which are working with the AC power supply are called as AC motors. The motors which are working with the DC power supply are called as a DC motors. So the stepper motors are comes under the DC motor. I'm not going for the elaborated explanation about the DC motor. We have seen this. We have seen the DC motors explanation during the third semester. So here the thing is a DC motor with a brushless. A DC motor with a brushless is called as a stepper motor. And why we are naming it as a stepper motor means we have another scenario also. If the rotor of the motor is rotating with some step size, means if we are able to control the rotation of the rotor in step sizes, certain with certain angles, then it is called as a stepper motor. Then that kind of motor is called as a stepper motor. Means basically, if we are able to control the rotation of the rotor by applying the pulses, by applying the input power supply to the motor, then it is called as a stepper motor. Depending on the configuration of our the rotor, we are having the rotors and the stators as we know that one. Okay, so we are having the rotors and stators, which we are going to see as we move on. Okay, so here, depending on the what is the construction of the rotor, there are three different types of stepper motors are there. One is a permanent magnet stepper motor, another one is a variable reluctance stepper motor, and the last one is a hybrid stepper motor. One is a permanent magnet stepper motor, another one is a variable reluctance stepper motor, and the last one is a hybrid stepper motor. So hybrid stepper motor is nothing but it is a what we say, it is a combination of the permanent as well as a variable reluctance type. So that's why it is called as a hybrid stepper motor. Okay, now let us go further. What exactly the permanent stepper motor, permanent magnet stepper motor? So as we know that these are the stator coils. These are the stator coils, and the middle one, this part is called as a this particular middle one is called as a this one. Okay, so this particular middle one is called as a rotor. So this particular middle one is called as a rotor, right? So this part is called as a rotor. Okay. Now, so these four coils are called as a status. Two status with the two status with the four ends, and the each end is having some coils. Okay. Now, so they are called as a status. Okay. So here this particular rotor is having the permanent magnet properties. Means one side of the rotor is acting as a north pole and another side is acting as a south pole. One is acting as a north pole, another acting, this one is a north pole and this one is a south pole. So in this diagram, wherever you are observing some elements with a blue color, then it is called as a south pole, and another one is called as a north pole. So in the permanent magnet stepper motor is nothing but if the rotor is constructed with the permanent magnet. If the rotor is constructed with the permanent magnet, then it is that kind of stepper motor is called as a permanent magnet stepper motor. Second one is what? Variable reluctance type stepper motor. Variable reluctance type stepper motor. In this stepper motor, the rotor is not the permanent magnet. We are having some soft iron core which is acting as a rotor, but this soft iron core is having some teeth which are equally placed on the surface, which are equally placed on the surface. The gap between the teeth is uniform. The gap between the teeth is uniform. So this kind of stepper motor is called as a variable reluctance type stepper motor. In the first case, the rotor is a permanent magnet. In the next case, rotor is a soft iron core, which is a soft iron core and placed with the teeth. Means it is a teethed rotor. Okay, now it is having some teeth and which are uniformly placed on the surface of the rotor, and which is not the permanent magnet, which is not the magnet, it is a soft iron core. Okay, now it is a soft iron core. The next case is a hybrid stepper motor. Okay, now so this is a hybrid stepper motor. Hybrid stepper motor means the whatever the rotor we are having, this particular rotor is having the permanent magnet properties as well as the rotor is a teethed one. The rotor is a teeth one. Okay. Now. So this is called as a hybrid stepper motor. In brief, stepper motor is nothing but if at all the rotor of the motor is controlled with certain angles, then it is called as a stepper motor. A DC motor is called as a stepper motor. If at all it is a brushless motor, and also if we are able to control the rotation of the rotation of a particular DC motor, then it is called as a stepper motor. So depending on the rotor construction, there are three types of stepper motors. One is a permanent magnet stepper motor, variable reluctance type stepper motor, and the hybrid stepper motor. So permanent magnet means if at all the rotor is a permanent magnet, means it is constructed with the help of the permanent magnet, then it is called as a permanent magnet stepper motor. And if at all the rotor is a soft iron core with the teeth, then it is called as a variable reluctance type stepper motor. So variable reluctance type stepper motor, we are not going in detail. So the next case is the hybrid stepper motor. It is a combination of the permanent magnet as well as a variable reluctance type stepper motor. Variable reluctance type stepper motor. Okay. Now, so if you go through the textbook, as per your textbook, if you are go through in the textbook, you will come across one word called as a shaft. One word called as a shaft. Shaft is nothing but this is a point. So this point. So whatever the structure which we have seen, this is inside the case. This is, entire thing is the inside the case. The out layer one, the little bit hash color one. This particular out layer is showing the case of the motor. So this is the case of the motor. Inside this particular case, whatever the construction which we have seen, that is going to be integrated. Okay, now so this is the case of the motor. So on the top of the case means the outside of the case, we are having one wheel like this now. So this part from here to here, from here to here, this part is called as a shaft. Shaft is nothing but the element which can be connected, which is used to connect the next coming elements. Means let us suppose I would like to control the rotation of a particular body with the help of the stepper motor, then that particular body, one end of that particular body is going to be connected to this particular shaft. Or I can say that whatever the body which we are connecting to this particular stepper motor using this shaft, that body is called as a load. That body is called as a load. When you are going through the textbook, you will come across the load. Load is nothing but an element which is connected to your shaft, which is connected to your shaft. If you want to know the exact one, so just recollect your stepper motor. When we are rotating our stepper motor using the microcontroller or microprocessor case, what we observed is we observed that the motor is rotated just because of some rotation which you are physically observed from the motor. So that part is called as a shaft of the motor. That part is called as a shaft of the motor. Okay, so this is the shaft. So this is a shaft. Okay. So this is all about a brief explanation of the motors concept. No, sir, we want exact explanation of your textbook. Okay. So you people are interested in textbook, right? So the textbook case. So if you see the textbook, then when you are going to go through the what is that stepper motor, you are able to control the steps of the motor. Means you are able to control the rotor rotation with a certain angle which is varying from 0.9 degrees. Means in a steps of 0.9 degrees to 90 degrees, you can what is that, rotate the rotor of the stepper motor by controlling the step size of the motor, and that particular step size is varying from the 0.9 degrees to 90 degrees. 0.9 degree, 9 degrees to 90 degrees. Okay, now so that is nothing but the step size of your stepper motor. So when you are go through in the textbook, you will come across one more term called as a stalling. One more term called as a stalling. This particular stalling is nothing but when you are trying to let me take one simple example. Let us suppose you are trying to lift some component, some device, some weight. Okay, otherwise some weight. Simple cases of some weight. If you are trying to lift a particular weight, if it is a bearable, then you can lift that particular weight. If it is not bearable, you are going to try and you are going to lift that one from the ground. And if you are unable to bear that particular weight, then you are going to place the weight on the surface of the earth itself. Okay, now means you are trying to lift, unfortunately you are falling back. Means you are placing that particular weight on the means at the same place. Okay, now so that kind of explanation is called as a stalling. Stalling is nothing but you are connecting the load to the shaft of your stepper motor. Na shaft, we have seen the shaft, right? So when you are connecting the load to the shaft of the stepper motor, and when you are starting the motor, it is it may or may not be rotate that particular load because of certain physical parameters, because of certain physical parameters which we are not considering. If at all your motor is trying to rotate but unable to rotate that particular load coming back to its original position, then that kind of thing is called as a stalling. Stalling means the motor is trying to rotate the load, but unfortunately it is falling back to its original position, then it is called as a stalling. And another case is when you are going through the stepper motor, you can operate the stepper motor in two different modes. One is called as a single step mode, another one is called as a sleeve mode. One is called as a single step mode, another one is called as a sleeve mode. Single step mode is nothing but in this mode of operation, you in this mode of operation you can rotate the stepper motor in both direction. In this mode of operation you can rotate the stepper motor in both directions. In sleeve mode case, you can rotate the stepper motor in only one direction. You can rotate the stepper motor in only one direction, so that is called as a sleeve mode. One is a single step mode, another one is a sleeve mode. One is a single step mode, another one is a sleeve mode. Okay, now so in the single step mode you can observe that with how much angle, means by giving the more delay. We have seen that particular case in our microcontroller microprocessor, what is that practical scenario. In microcontroller microprocessor practical scenario, by increasing the delay, the rotor is going to be rotate very slowly, which you can observe by concentrating on the shaft of that particular motor. Okay, now so here when you are giving the in case of the single step mode, in case of the single step mode, after every rotation you are after every step size. Step size means with how much angle the rotor should get rotate. If it is a 90 degrees, it will rotate 90 degrees and wait, and if you are giving further instructions, then it will rotate another 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, another 90 degrees, like that. In the single step mode you can observe the steps, as means you can observe with how much angle it is rotating. You can't calculate the angle actually, but it is going to be give some halt between the rotations, between the step sizes. So that is called as a single step mode type of operation. Another one is a sleeve mode. Sleeve mode means in this case you can't rotate the stepper motor in both direction. So in the single step mode you can rotate the what is that motor in both direction, either in the clockwise or in the anti-clockwise direction. But in the sleeve mode you can't rotate the motor in both direction. You can rotate the motor in only one direction, and in this case you can't observe the what is that steps, with how much steps it is varying, with how much step angle it is rotating the stepper motor. It is continuously rotating the stepper motor, which you can't observe that with how much step angle it is rotating. If you want to know the basic explanation, basic block diagram of your stepper motor, so let me take a slide. I'm having the slide for this. So here, if you see this one, so this is a basic construction of our stepper motor. This is a basic construction of our stepper motor. Okay, now, so in the stepper motor, we are having the, if you see this one, in the stepper motor, we are having the rotor, which is a freely rotatable one. I'm not focusing on whether this particular stepper motor is a permanent magnet or a variable reluctance type or the hybrid stepper motor. I'm just taking the how exactly, whatever the type it is, but how exactly the rotor is going to be get controlled. So that we are discussing over here. So it is a stepper motor case now. So the construction is, it is having the coils. Here I am taking the four-phase stepper motor. Here I am taking the four-phase stepper motor. Four-phase stepper motor means four coils are there. They are acting as a status. Four coils are there. They are acting as a means there are four coils, and two coils. Each two coils are called as a one stator. So what we do, that there are two stators. So if you take this one, there are two stators with the two coils. There are two stators with the two coils. Means each stator having the two ends. Now each end of the stator is having one coil. So total it is having the four coils. So that's why it is called as a four-phase stepper motor. So that's why it is called as a four-phase stepper motor. So here this particular one is a four-phase stepper motor. Now if you take this diagram, he is saying that this is a construction for the permanent magnet stepper motor. Don't think that it is not only for the permanent magnet stepper motor. Any variable reluctance type stepper motor also you can take, because that purely depends on the type of the motor, purely depends on what it is, purely depends on the construction of the rotor. So we used to bother about the construction of the rotor, how exactly the rotor is constructed over here. So here these are the four coils, and they are grouped into two status. They are grouped into two status. You can see right over here. So you can form this particular what is that status winding based on the center tapped transformers. With the help of the center tapped coils, you can take the what is that you can construct your status. So if you see this one, two coils, one end of the this coil and another end of this coil are connected commonly, and here also these two coils, one end is connected commonly. So okay now. So total how many ends are there? Four ends are there. From the other side of the coils, it is having the four ends, and each end is having some coil. Each end is having some coil. So AB together is called as one stator, and CD together one called as a another stator. Okay now. So we are having the two status with the four coils, two status with the four coil, and one rotor is rotating. Depending on the pulses which you are in which order you are applying the pulses, that is a current supply, the pulse duration, pulses depending on the pulse direction, in which direction you are applying the pulses to the coil, what is it, coils. Based on that, the rotor is going to be get rotated either in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction, either in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction. So that purely depends on in which form, in which direction you are applying the pulses to the coils. Or simple cases, how you are energizing the coils, in which format, either in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction, in which format you are energizing the coils. Based on that, the rotor is going to get rotated in the clockwise or in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, now clockwise or in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so when you are going to purchase any kind of stepper motor, you are supposed to concentrate on some physical characteristics of that particular motor. So as per this explanation, he's expecting that the step angle size is 1.8 degrees, and accuracy, all those things are explained over here. So these are the some means when you are trying to purchase your stepper motor in the market, then you are supposed to consider some physical parameters. You are supposed to concentrate on some physical parameters based on their characters, based on their physical parameters only. We are supposed to purchase the stepper motors in the market. We are supposed to purchase the stepper motors in the market. Now, let us go for the further explanation how we are going to energize the coils. I told you that based on the in which order you are energizing the coils, based on that, the stepper motor is going to be rotated in the clockwise or in the anti-clockwise direction. So now let us see how exactly we are going to do that operation. Okay, now if you see this one, so here I'm assuming that A, B, C, D are the four coils. They are the names assigned to the individual coils. As we know that there are two stators we are having now. So here the rotor is not shown over here. It is showing only the direction. Okay. So here the rotor is going to be exist right over here. The rotor is going to be exist right over here, and these are the four coils now. Two coils are tied together, just like the common terminal case what we have seen in the last slide. So at that time it is forming the one coil. Means assume that AB is forming one stator and CD is forming the another stator. So depending on how you are energizing the coils or how you are applying the pulses to the coils, based on that, the rotor is going to be get rotated in the clockwise or in the anti-clockwise direction. I am assuming that as per this diagram, A, B, C, D. If you are following like this, it is going to be gives the clockwise direction. If you are going in the reverse order, A, D, C, B, A direction, then it is going to be the anti-clockwise direction. If you see this one, so in which direction you are interested to rotate the stepper motor. So in the downward direction means I'm applying the active high pulse to the A, active high pulse to the A. I'm having the pulses over here, right? So wait, let me show you exactly. These are shifted. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll just bar about that. Let's focus on. So this pulse is related to the A, so which is a little bit far, and this pulse it is a how to readjust that one as I don't have the time. Let us go for this. Okay, now. So this pulse is indicating the A, and this pulse, the second pulse for the B, and third pulse for the C. A plus B. Let me take some time. Wait, I'll show you exactly what's happening. Okay, so wait a minute. Yeah, look at this now. So here A, B, C, D are there now. So if I'm supplying, if I'm applying the pulses in order A, in the order A, B, C, D direction, in the order A, B, C, D direction, then I'm applying the pulse to the coil A, and during the when I'm applying the pulse to the coil A, there is no pulse for the B, there is no pulse for the C, there is no pulse for the D. So that's why I sliced this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many pulses are there? 4 pulses are there. In the next pulse duration, in the next pulse duration, again there is a change. Okay, so why it is shifted, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is during the first pulse, A only having the active high, remaining are the active low. During the second pulse, B only having the active high, and another one is a active low. So if you see this one, okay, look at this. So over here, so this is the active high pulse. This is a active high pulse. During the first case, this is the active high. Which one is having the high? A only having the high. Okay, now during the second case, if you observe this one, then B only having the active high pulse. During the third case, during the third case, then C only having the active high pulse. Means this one is only the active high duration. Remaining are the active low. The next case is the uh, so next case is the for this the fourth one. So during this case, only the D having the active high. So only the D is having the active high. So this one is the active high during the last case, fourth case. So these are the individual ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here during the first pulse, A only the active high signal. So this is the active high signal. During the first pulse, A only the active high signal during the first pulse, and during the second pulse, B only the active high signal. During the third pulse, C only the active high signal. Just like that, during the fourth pulse, D only the active high signal. Now, again, if you repeat and keep on apply the pulses A, B, C, D like that, then the motor is going to be get rotated. Wait a minute. The motor is going to be get rotated in the clockwise direction. The motor is going to be get rotated in the clockwise direction. If you are going in the reverse order, means I'm going with the D, C, B, A format, then it is going to be the anti-clockwise direction. It is a four-phase stepper motor. It is a four-phase stepper motor. Now, let's go for the another case. No, sir, I don't want to go for the full step. Full step, it is a 90-degree step. I want to go with the half step. Then it is a half step sequence is going to be, you are supposed to apply the two pulses for the A, B, and 0, 0 is the active low. Means every time you are applying the two pulse, continuous coils. You are energizing the continuous coils. At a time, because of that it is going to give the half pulse, not the full step. It is going to be the half step, not the full step. Means not from here to here, it is going to be the half step. So with respect to this one, it is going to be the half step. With respect to this one, it is going to be the half step, means 45 degrees angle. Okay, the next case is I can increase the number of steps by changing the order, how order of applying the pulses. So based on that, it is going to be the 8-step sequence. It is going to be the 8-step sequence. Okay, so now let us go for interfacing the stepper motor to the microcontroller. Interfacing the stepper motor to the microcontroller. Here in this case, you can take any microcontroller over here. So I'm just taking the 89C2051 as per the textbook. If you want, you can go with the PIC microcontroller also. But if you are going with the PIC microcontroller, you are supposed to specify a particular what is that what is that port pins coming from the microcontroller. That is from the PIC microcontroller. I think PIC microcontroller, yeah, PIC microcontroller diagram is also right over here. So here there is a difference between the previous diagram and this diagram. So this diagram, what I told Ma, when you are trying to just recollect the information from the DC motors, when you are trying to rotate your motor, what you are supposed to do, your motor should be connected with the amplifier. Your motor should be connected with the amplifier. So these are the Darlington pair connections, Ma. These are the Darlington pair connections. For each coil, we are having one amplifier. We are having one amplifier. For each coil, we are having one amplifier. Let me show you that. So here we are having the uh, wait a minute. This is one Darlington pair connection for the coil A. This is another Darlington pair connection for the coil B. This is another Darlington pair connection for the coil C. And this is another Darlington pair connection for the coil D. Okay. So these are the four coils now. Coil 1, coil 2, coil 3, coil D. Okay. Now again they are misplaced. Okay. So just bother about that one. So it is a one coil which is a coil A. This one is going to be the A coil, right? This one is going to be the B coil, and this one is going to be the C coil, and this one is going to be the D coil, right? So this is going to be the D coil. So in the last class, we have seen one thing called as a, we are supposed to, what is that? Use the diodes in parallel to our coils. In parallel to our coils. Why we are supposed to draw these coils in parallel to our coils? I told you that one. When you are applying the power supply, then there is a charge induced in this particular coil. When you are not applying that one, then the energy which is stored in this particular coil, it is going to be trying to discharge. So for that, you are supposed to provide a common path. Means during the charging operation, the direction of the charging is in one way. Okay now, during the discharging operation, the EMF is going to be get discharged now. So for that, we are supposed to provide certain path. If you are not providing that path, then it is going to damage, each coil is going to damage the Darlington pair connection. To support that one, you are supposed to connect one diode in parallel to our coils, so here we are interfacing. What we are interfacing? We are interfacing our stepper motor. We are interfacing the stepper motor. So stepper motor is having how many coils? Four coils. Stepper motor is having the four coils. Okay. So we are interfacing our stepper motor. Wait a minute. We are interfacing our stepper motor with the four coils. This is one region. And another case is this region. Each coil is interfaced with the drivers. We have seen the drivers concept, DC motor drivers. DC motor drivers are nothing but the amplifiers. So here I'm using one amplifier. Here I'm using one amplifier. Okay, so this one is a one Darlington pair connection. This one is another Darlington pair connection acting as a current amplifier. This one is another current amplifier. This one is another current amplifier. Whenever you would like to rotate your stepper motor or any DC motor by the microcontroller, then you are supposed to amplify the signal, because there's the information which is coming from the microcontroller case is it is a 25 millivolts. Okay, now so it is a 25 milliwatts, 20 milliwatts and the 25 milliwatts. 20 milliwatts for the source part, 25 milliwatts for the sink part, 25 milliwatts for the sink part. Okay, sorry, yeah, 20-25 milliwatts. Okay, so we are having the 20-25 milliwatts, so it is going to be interchange, I think so. So here based that particular 25 milliwatts of power supply is not sufficient to drive your rotor. So that's why that particular information is get amplified by this particular Darlington pair connection from the by this particular Darlington pair connections. Okay, so instead of using the Darlington pair connection separately, we are having one IC called as a ULN 2003. You are having one IC called as a ULN 2003. This one is having the seven, what is that? The Darlington pair connections. Seven Darlington pair terminals are there within this particular, what is that? 2003, which is a acting as a motor driver, stepper motor driver, which is acting as a stepper motor driver, or a simple case, I can say that it is a amplifier, which is acting as a amplifier to amplify the signal, low end power signal coming from this particular, say, from this particular IC to this particular IC. You should get amplifier now. So what we are doing over here, before supplying our information to this particular coil, we are amplifying that information, just like that. The ULN is also going for amplifying the signal, and the amplified signal is supplied to the microcontroller case. Sorry, supplied to the, what is that, stepper motor. It is going to be supplied to the stepper motor. So this is about our stepper motor interfacing. I think. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is all about our stepper motor interfacing. Now if you want to go through your textbook, you are having the doubts like which diagrams you are supposed to draw in the exam. So when you are going through in the exam, then you are supposed to draw this basic diagram in the exam. You are supposed to draw this one in the exam, And the next part which you are supposed to draw in the exam is a yes, this part. You are supposed to draw this part, and only one is enough. For this, you can go with the one diagram. And another thing is, if you want to repeat the same thing, repetition is very simple. It is a 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1 0, and it is the order. Okay. So if you want to go with the half step, if instead of drawing this one, you can simply write the this particular binary combination if you want. Otherwise, you can skip off. No problem at all. And the next case is interfacing diagram. So 8-step sizes also depends on your interest. Okay, but if you are interested, you can write this particular bit combination. If you are writing the bit combination, then you are going to get more interest. Okay, from the evaluator, right? So here you are having the what is that? This diagram, the interfacing diagram. You may use the 8051 over here, or you may use the PIC microcontroller. Don't bother about it. So if they are specifically asking that interface your stepper motor to the PIC microcontroller, then you can replace this entire thing, this block with the PIC microcontroller with the help of the port A, which is a RA0, RA1, RA2, RA3, RA3 like that. You can take the port A lines from the PIC microcontroller. If they are asking about the 8051, then this diagram is more than enough. Only one diagram is more than enough in interfacing, and no one will ask you that interface your stepper motor using the what is that the amplifier ULN 2003. No one will ask this particular ULN 2003. You can simply go with this particular diagram. If you are getting confused with this diagram, then you can simply go with this diagram in interfacing your stepper motor. But when you are going with this particular interfacing diagram, then you are supposed to write a short note on the ULN 2003, which is acting as a what is that amplifier, which is acting as a amplifier. And the same thing is going to be over here, but it is a different types of what is that amplifier. No need to go with this one in the exam. With respect to the exam, amplifier cases, why we are using the amplifier between the microcontroller and the stepper motor is nothing but the microcontroller is means when you are taking one IC which is acting as a source as well as a sink. We studied the source value as well as the sink value, right? So whatever that particular power which is coming from the microcontroller IC or any IC, that may not satisfy, that may not sufficient to rotate your stepper motor, to rotate your stepper motor. At that time, what you are supposed to do, because when you are taking the motor, now motor is working with the around 1 ampere to 2 ampere current, 3 ampere current, depends on the motor capacity, that is a loading capacity. The rotor may rotate with 1 ampere current, 2 ampere current, or 3 ampere current. We have seen the 3 ampere current in our lab case. So the depending on that particular what is that current supply which is expected by the motor, you are supposed to supply that much of amount of current from the microcontroller, which is not possible because it is working with the what is that 10, 15, 20 milliamperes current. If you are taking the what is the current only, I'm not taking that particular what is that power, the which is acting as a source and the sink case. So the current coming from any particular IC, not only the microcontroller, any IC is in the milliamperes range. It is in the milliamperes range. That milliampere current is not sufficient to satisfy your expectations expected by your motor. The motor is expecting the 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere current. That purely depends on the capacity of your motor. So as this particular current coming from the particular microcontroller is not sufficient to rotate your stepper motor, that's why we are going with the current amplifiers. Over here, we are going with the current amplifiers. With the help of the current amplifiers, we are converting the low intensity signal, that is a milliamperes range, into the 1 ampere range, which is going to be satisfy your motor to get rotate. Okay. So this is all about your stepper motor, and which diagrams you are supposed to draw in the exam. I explained that one. So this is all about your stepper motor. If you are having any doubts regarding this, you can send a message in the WhatsApp group. Okay, this is all about your stepper motor, and that's it for now. So if you are having any doubts, you can post your doubts in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.